Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
We'll start creating course. First, before we start creating, you need to have a topic. You need to understand or you need to know and which topic the course that you're getting must sit in. Since we are creating courses, I will first create a topic and then go for courses. Yes, topic is mandatory. Yes, topic is mandatory. A topic is a kind of umbrella, I can say, for holding courses. These topics are manually created. It's not like by default. There are some topics. No, by default, there won't be any topics. We need to create topics and then have courses created. Another one. Creating just compliance course. Can we add an image of our choice? You can. Yes, you can. Custom image you can add. I've created one topic called HR and also will create one more topic. I should make. The courses that I'm creating should sit in any of this topic. Create courses, the task. Here you need to select which course that you wanted to, whether you wanted to go for blended or digital. First I'll create digital one. Then I'll create a blended, then I'll create a program. Topic we need to select, since this is a mandatory topic that we need to select, as the topics that I've created will be populated here. I'll just select the topic that I've created. We'll select HR. If you wanted this course to exclude, from the search and browse, because, since you have named it as code of conduct, if you entered this name of the course code of conduct here, the list of courses now with this name will be populated here. From there also, you can navigate to the particular course. What does it give an option to exclude the searching from browsing on the at course level? If you wanted to restrict from the search bar to search this course, you can select this one. If you exclude, what is the advantage? Even if you search, with the course name, that will not return. You search for code of conduct from the search bar, it will not populate. Meaning, why do we use that? Some, stakeholders, maybe requiring their courses should not be searchable and their courses should be restricted to only their team members. And let's say benefits is there. Benefits IPI course content. KPI restricted for benefit enrollee employees. Benefits team may think that our courses should be available only for benefits team and should not be, searchable for employees. From the search bar, they'll be having some kind of requirement. This is also, this was not part of initial line. This was part of a feature addition in last religion of work. They added this feature. If I want to make only accessible by benefits, if I exclude from such involves, then even benefits will not be able to access it. Benefits will not. No one will be able to access the search or search and make it searchable for only one team. For, this checkbox, will make the course to not searchable, from the search bar. If you wanted to restrict this from the search bar and only for benefits team, it has to populate. There is a kind of different security that we need to go through. That is a different setup, but whatever in our delivered option that has worked as given here. This checkbox will allow this course to be not searchable from the search bar. If you enter the search name along with all the courses, it will not return the results. And there is a main feature of this, but if you wanted to do some kind of security restrictions, only, to particular team, it has to return only for this team. It has to not populate. You need to build a kind of separate security for that one. The topic level security we need to build. Only these employees will be having access to these topics, kind of, from the scratch, and you need to build a security. Topic level security, meaning, for example, this is HR. HR should be accessible by, for example, only HR. Only, HR means every employee will be able to access. Let's see if you are creating any topic for benefits team. Only benefits team should be able to access that particular topic, and the legal team, only legal team, should be able to access that particular topic and should not be able to return from the search or from the browse content. It should not return. Those kind of security setups, will be, can be made at security level segment. There is a group called segment based, a security group. For each segment, you can create a security and that security will be added to that particular domain. And when that domain is accessible only for that segment based segments, you will be able to access that security. There's a kind of in a different security concept will be coming into picture when I need to restrict courses to be accessed from the search bar or from topic level or at the domain level. That means we were that topic. If I go out and make it a topic level security, that means all the course will not. Another topic will be restricted. All the courses are not the topic. Not any. No, there is a different thing. If you wanted to restrict only specific courses, another topic, there's a kind of different. I don't think that you need to different reporting filters that you need to play around. At the browse gun in a browser learning content level, you know you need to select a topic as a filter. And from there you need to select a specific course name under that particular topic. And that will be restricted from the browse content. But if you wanted to restrict searchable from search bar whatever in a segment, based that I said that entire topic will be restricted, not a lot course level, and that topic will be restricted. Here, when you're creating courses, you know contact is nothing. But who will be a learning owner? I can say course owner. You'll be adding that course owner here. I just took some random employee. This checkbox if you wanted to take this course. If you require, if enrollment is mandatory for this course, you'll be checking this checkbox with that. Whenever employee wanted to get into this course, they need to enroll into that one and go for. If enrollment is not needed, employee can directly take this course without any enrollment. If that is the case, no need of checking this checkbox. And any course that you create in work. I think this course number thing. We have boomerang integration. If that is there, it automatically generates the course number. Is it different? Is a different application and then it is sitting, or is it a part of Workday? That you weren't a solution. No, for every model. We can develop a boomerang integration which auto updates data within Workday, but I don't think there is no web service for for cut course level. Where boomerang can auto update a course numbers, and on I don't know what kind of from. Is it a studio integration that you went to say custom integration that is built, or the lower integration? There is nothing should you integrate, I believe. But there is no web service at course level. I don't know what that boomerang integration will be doing. Let me see. There is no web service at all. Normally, what will the customers do? They might not even have a full course number. They will manually generate, or sorry, they will manually update it. Let's say for course code of conduct version 1 will have created now. And they wanted to have any specific, if they're adding any additional another version of a code of conduct, they'll be adding course number here. In that case, I said, well, we're utilizing course numbers here. Generally, course number will be, will be required for tracking and for, reporting purposes. To whenever you're reporting on courses, what are the courses that are available and what are active, what are inactive. And if there are multiple courses which are active with the same name, what is the course, number of the course, and all In that way, that is intended. But for assigning the course to an employee or enrolling course number doesn't make any difference there. Let me see. You're saying a boomerang is updating this thing over. I don't. There is no web service at all, but let me check what course level is. That separate integration has to be built. If anything that has to be updated, separate integration has to be built. course. They'll be using this a learning web service to create courses, and automatically, you know that will, here we are manually creating. What that integration will be doing is the automates the creation of that thing. They would have written a code there to certain logics. You know, if course has been created, if it is for this topic, this would be a kind of sequence of course number. If it is this topic sequence, you know it should be this in this sequence. It has to be kind of logical. They would have written, this is a web service that they would be using for creating courses. I don't know why running again will be creating. I know all these things. I don't know how. What is the reason that you have automated the and creating courses, and all creating courses is not automated? Only the course number generation is automatic. What is it? If you wanted to get this course expired after a certain point of time, you can set expiry date when you wanted to get this course expired. That you know, that will be not open for enrollment. You can set an expiry for this course. After being expired, will it be visible in the example, the browsing? It will be visible. It will be visible, but the status of the course will be inactive. The course will get inactivated. You'll be not able to. You can see here this automatically checks. This box will get automatically checked when it gets expired. When it is inactivated, you'll be not able to enroll into this course. You'll be able to see this course, but you'll be not able to enroll into this first week. Of course, only active courses will be inactivated, and inactive courses cannot be enrolled. You can set the expiry date, you know, whenever you're creating this thing, and I just left as it is. These are all the rules that you can create. If your course is a cost associated, you can define a cost to what is the cost and all the competency. Yesterday you are asking. That comes here the credits. If you wanted to assign any kind of learning credits to each of the course that you create, you know, you can assign those units here. Here, and for assigning a cost, a sales item, invoice item, you need to create outside of the course task. Then you know you'll be able to call that sales item here. And you remember when we were enabling learning module line finance and maintain functional area, you were seeing customer accounts. Customer accounts was option which I was seeing. You know, this is required for any kind of purchase order. When employees enrolling to cost associated courses, a cost will be associated with that. And you need to pay for that particular course and that kind of information. When you wanted to use such kind of when you wanted to make your courses kind of costable, and purchase order has to be generated for any course. That customer account has to be enabled in a maintained functional area. Then you will be able to assign a cost to this particular course. Let's say now we know you're part of one of the organization, and as part of external training. Probably you know your organization has got some association with the external training windows of Workday. Some third-party agency, what they're reporting, what the integrations, Workday, Calic fields, the business process kind of concepts are there as part of external training. For each, I know they would have given you a kind of option as per your interest, make and go for each of these courses. Each of those courses will be cost associated. If you have chosen 9 what they're reporting. Will be costing $100 kind of thing. Once you set this course on submit, that cost will be paid by your organization to third party, because the course has been associated with cost. In order to have that cost associated, you need to enable that customer accounts functional area. You need to enable that one, that you'll be able to create any courses that has to be associated with cost. But how is it going to? I'm not understanding the relation, because here we are only mentioning the cost, but it doesn't mean that it will be charging them. Unless there is for whom? No, the third party will not be here for your organization. Automatically purchase order will be generated. Finance team will be getting a kind of a purchase order that a course has been enrolled for $100 and 100 needs to pay to third party. That type of an asset will be taken care of. Only thing that this thing says to ease whatever course that you are getting enrolled is searchable, and whatever cost that you will be seeing. Let's say $100. $100 is the cost of this course. And once you submit this enrollment, your it means that you're enrolled in the course, that is cost. Here a lot of things will be coming to the picture. Manager approval, manager need. Without manager concern, any of cost related courses cannot be enrolled. A lot of things will be coming into picture. Once you enroll into the course that is cost associated, it will go to manager for an approval, and manager approach that one. You'll be enrolled into that course. And once you complete that one purchase order, automatically there will be a kind of email setup will be there. A purchase order will be reflected to your manager saying that $100 has been on a dollar purchase order has been generated, and a finance team will be taking a purchase order and will be paying to vendor. Like how we know what the trainings will be doing. What the trainings also will be doing in the same way. But I think there should be some integration. Only then purchase order and all will be generated without that. What integration has to be? What integration has to be to do? Integration in the sense it has to go to external system. What is the external system here? No, if it is supposed to generate the ARM but day's order for finance, that means finance has to be integrated with this. Finance is part of what the system. Why there will be a separate integration will be needed if they have a Workday as a kind of finance system. A purchase order will be generated as part of a business process setup. Why integration is needed if it is a CP system? If it is any external finance system like SAP or KIL, there's a different case. Then these customer accounts and all will not be enabled here. Probably they would be managing the entire cost purchase orders in external system. But if finance is part of what they are automated business as per business process, set up purchase order business process. Notification will be sent to finance team that $100 of purchase order is related reason. The cost for this course has been utilized, and hence $100 was in charge for that course. Kind of notification will be to go to finance team, and accordingly they'll generate an invoice and pay to vendor. And if you go up, there are some other things like notifications stuff. That's what I said. You need scores, competencies and all. This comes as a kind of validation rules, a learning group rule, to which rule they wanted to have this course to be populated, or any kind of external validations that at BP level. If you wanted to assign this course and all you know you'll be using, but most of the customers will be utilizing units and cost, because if you wanted to have any specific credits for that particular course, you will be assigning those unit type and cost. If you wanted to associate any cost to that one, you will be assigning costs. These two will not be utilized because a validation rule they will be doing in a BP level to restrict any kind of courses and all. These are the two mostly used options when you're creating courses, competencies, all competency, you'll be defining what is the kind of competency, all those things. You'll be defining here which group has to undergo this thing, which job classification will be defining competencies based on a job classifications. And those competencies will be selecting here if any requirement is there. Once you provide all those things, here comes the lesson or a media. If you wanted to access this course through any external content through URL, once an employee clicks on that URL, a scroll file will be generated with video on. If you have that kind of requirement, you will be selecting the external content. But if you have any kind of scroll files which you have dumped into Workday Drive, you can pick those media files from here. Here you have an option. Here you have an option to select. There has to be drive. Drive also will be here. You can select the scroll file either from your system or from your ARM drive. Drive in the sense which OneDrive or not OneDrive. What did drive? My OneDrive. How can you go to one way? Well, what did drive will be there? W drive will be there. You can, I think I told you in the beginning of the session, will be having what? W drive also will be there. From there, all the scroll files now will be placed in the U drive. And from there you can pick those are scroll files and attach it to the course. This Chrome file can be a media file, can be a scroll file or any kind of a document. Also, it can be if I go ahead and this I understand. If I'm creating the course through EIB, anything, even if you're creating through EIB. Also, you need to have media. But you'll be mentioning the media ID there. Here you're picking the course, but if you're going through EIB, you need to have all the media information. Here for your manually picking the file, but when you're doing through EIB, you need to know ID of that media which you are picking. You need to mention that ID and the EIB will be taking care of associating that media ID to the course that you're creating. My question is, for example, if I'm creating through the UI like this, I can go ahead and attach it from my computer. If it is a form file or an AIC, I can attach it from my computer. But if I'm doing it through EIB, how do I attach the media? When you are saying you have to use the ID, that means that I have to first upload it in my Workday Drive and then take the ID and give it in EIB. Is that correct? Anything that you get into Workday, anything courses or media, employee or a integration. If you create anything, if you're creating report, if you're creating integration, if you're creating an employee, if you're creating contingent worker, if you're creating courses, if you're having a media files in Workday, everything will be having an ID. Employee will be having employee integration ID and the media will be having media ID, report will be having report. ID integration will be having integration. Every object that gets into Workday will be getting an ID. That you can pick that ID and associate with any of the integration. Similarly, when you dump in all the media scroll files into Workday Drive, the ID will be generated, which is called a media ID. We need to pick those media IDs when you're dumping courses through EIB. You need to know what media has to be associated for the course that you're loading through EIB. You need to pick those media IDs and place that in EB. And when you load EIB into Workday, that course will be created. And with the media ID that you mentioned in the EIB template, that media will be attached to that course. Workday media drive, for example, I have my drive correct. Media drive. I have this is respective to individual or it is a common drive. This is a respective to that. If you load media files into Workday Drive, you have an option to share those media files to any other employee. If you are loading into Drive, it will be available for you. You will be creating folders. You will be creating, you will be in folders, you'll be placing those media files and all. You have an option to share those media files to any of your team members or to any of external team member who are part of Workday. There has to be involved. They to any of the member who is involved. You can share those media files. That is sharing media files. But if I am not shared there and if I am giving the ID in the course through any EAB, for example, if I am giving the Workday ID, will that be yes? That will be created. That will be created. It will not. It will not because the ID is there in Workday. The ID is created. And through that ID, you will be creating a course. Even if I'm not shared there, even if you're not shared, only the thing is that person will not be able to access Chrome file or anything in work data. That person will not be able to access. But since the ID has got generated, that person will be able to create course through EIB. That person is not manually creating. I'm not manually creating, or if you would have shared, probably when he's manually creating will be getting into his drive and whatever you would have shared will be showing in his drive. But we know not shared will not be showing. But media ID is a separate. ID concept is separate. He'll be just giving that ID in a template. But when EIB is doing a creation of, when EIB is creating the course, EIB will just relate. The course that you have given as a name in the template will be relating to the media ID that the course will be created. What happened? I don't have any files to attach here in this desktop. It will be tracked. Suppose if it is a PDF or a Word document, if I am attaching, it is non-trackable content. How will the completion be tracked for those? There is no relation for tracking here. Once the course is created, automatically, whether it is Chrome or PDF, anything can be tracked. From learning. There is nothing through media. There is nothing, that can be associated with tracking. Tracking once the course is created, whether it is a PDF, a media file or scroll file, media file, that is, I know that is not the concept. Once the course is created, once the enrollment is done, you'll be able to create a report and track who has taken this course, who has enrolled in the course, What is the status of that enrollment? All those things can be tracked, but nothing like a media file comes into picture there when you're tracking. What I'm saying is SCOM and ACC call, contents are trackable. When the user, takes the course or content, launches the content, it will ideally save where he has left. And once he completes the last slide, it will send the completion back to M&S site. But if it's a PDF or a Word document, there's no tracking assets. What is there any setting which we have to give in Workday to complete upon launch for those kinds of contents? Basically, let's say I've created a course and the media file is attached to the PDF. Now, course is enrolled and employee is trying to take the course. Now he has opened the PDF file and he has not gone to the complete and he has closed the browser. What will happen? You'll be give a kind of validation rule. Once the complete PDF page has been reviewed, you'll be going marking that course as complete. But unless the employee just enrolls and you open that launch the course, just launch the course and not accessing any kind of PDF document, that will be in progress. The kind of a status, you'll be seeing whatnot, completion status, but once employee opens the PDF, that course will be marked as complete or there will be a kind of submit button also. Once the course is completed, there will be a kind of submit button. Once the submit button is clicked, that course will be marked as complete. But if it is going through a scroll file, and as per the scroll package, vendor will be adding some kind of validations rules there. If an employee is fast forwarding, fast forwarding options should be restricted and complete tools video has to be reviewed. Such kind of validations in scroll file. Vendor will be doing scroll vendor. Third party vendor will be doing scroll vendor, will be adding validations to that one. Only after completing that complete 2 hours of video, the course must be ended. A kind of a video completion has to be completed kind of settings. No, that vendor will be doing in a scroll package. They'll be creating a program there and they'll be adding those. In Workday Prospect, once the submit button is clicked, the course completion will be coming into picture. Some of course will be marked as complete. There is no setting automatically. It will submit button which user has to click. Or do you want it to add like course owner's email address, course owner like custom columns? If I want to add to the course, no, this is a delivered template. The course creation template, you cannot customize this thing. Workday is different from other applications. In other people, let's say PeopleSoft, whatever page that you have seen in the PeopleSoft, we have an option to create that page. But in Workday, no, we don't have option to create any pages. Create course is a template, and whatever Workday will be providing, you will be giving those options and you'll be utilizing that one. But if you wanted to add anything extra column to that one, there is no space for that page level customizations. How do we? But we can add custom alongside, where you can add no for this create course thing. The way you were asking. Instead of employed, I wanted to give course owner email. I'm saying I want additional fields which are not Workday delivered. You mean in create course? You mean you're in create course template in while creating course. If you wanted to add additional fields, that cannot be done. No, you cannot. You can create custom fields, but in this template, create course kind of template. Let's say this is the template. And your question was instead of contacts here, instead of giving employee name here, I wanted to give employee email. That cannot be done. That cannot be done. And if you wanted to add any other field label instead of the ones that are visible here, you cannot do that one. Now, instead of contact, just change the text. Instead of contact course owner, and I change the text. No, nothing you can change here. These values cannot change anything here. No, nothing, no label. You cannot add here. These are templates create course template that worked as created, which we have not created. We don't have any control. That's the only limitation that we have in Workday. Technically, you can create whatever custom field that you wanted to have and add anywhere. But here at create course level, you don't have any option to add. There is no configuration that I know that control these fields in Workday. Just create. Technically, you said you can add some more fields. Technically, let's say if you're sending some details to any external system, vendor will be requiring some other field. As per this, yesterday I was seeing like batch number, and other than employed, a batch number is, we have an option to create a custom field. That also every customer will be having limitation in creating custom fields. 150. I think when I was creating a custom field 3 years back or 4 years back, there was a restriction that every customer have only 150 values of creating custom fields. Other than 150, no customer will be having access to create custom fields. 150 is very high for usage. Then if you want to use custom fields, we can create. But it will not come on this template. You're saying, no, create this create course template. You have no option to add any kind of custom values here, but employee profile or any other, any other area that you wanted to add there. You have an option, but create course level like, you don't have an option to add that. Continue. Because there is no configuration that controls courses. Now we created course. Let's see if we can go to browse content and relax. See how it works. Is this space customizable? Which one? Like homepage. What will you learn today? This big fonts and a big spaces, blank spaces. If you go up, see this course I've created is coming in contacts. This is how we know it'll be coming. This entire is a kind of search report. You have an option to control these options. What options to be populated here? You have an options to here. But if you wanted to, populate this course instead of this image. If you wanted to image, and all will be having an option to add whatever image that you wanted to have, but the way that it is displaying, if you wanted to populate in different way that you do, you cannot do that one. Whatever report will be delivering the format of the output, you will be getting in the same way, but you have an option to control these options, what to be populated and what to be, additional values that needs to be added. You can add whatever you want here. But at course level, the format is this, it populates in this way. You can change the output format also. For example, the next course, if we have created another course, it will come below it. Below is this one. It will come next to each other. That kind of a tile-based view. No, you cannot, because there's much blank space. That's why I must know, since you're seeing that this tenant is not created with any tenant. It will be, you're seeing this one, but check your actual production tenant. You'll be seeing a list of courses here. Completely, you'll be seeing completely. I know the customer sign up for whom I work. They have around 1500 courses. You'll not see any empty space here, since you're seeing empty space. If you don't have description, it will be more white space. You see the image of, we have not added any image. It's seeing blank. And the course, we have just given complete course, and we have not given. We have given just, descriptions, mandate codes. All those things matters here. Based on the information that you hear, that will be populated. That's how we know we create a typical course, and now we know we'll be creating one blended course. We created our digital course, and the blended course is nothing but a client of instructor-led training. Blended course have additional information here, where we can provide instructor information here. Who will be the instructor, kind of information you will be providing, and also locations where the course will be located. All those things These are the additional details that you'll be providing with blended courses, or the rest of the information on the top is same. What we have seen for this digital course. Creating multiple. What says, and you can just give the version number here, and we do different versions. What will happen to the example? I've taken a version, and after 2 years the content is getting updated. If the content is getting, then if I have to create version 2, what will happen to the people? It will be still there in the learning history. People who have completed version 1 will be completed. People are in progress. That's the case. You know that you need to think people who are enrolled and are in progress of a version 1. Those things will be impacted. I've seen a case, in one of the customer there was a issue with the Scrum file. and people who have completed. There was a different option in Scrum file. So if you click on S, you'll be able to proceed further. And if you click on No, there is issue with the no selecting no. And when you select no, you'll be not able to proceed and you'll be not able to do anything. It will start there. That's a kind of issue with this Scrum file. Now employees who are completing or taking this Scrum file and who are doing if employee would have selected S, they would have proceeded and they would have completed the course. But the issue is with people are not able to complete the course and there's you know about it or not able to proceed further. Now, we used to get a lot of support tickets from employees that we are not able to complete the course and it is getting stuck and we are not able to restart. We are not able to do anything. And learning administrator used to reach us. Is there anything that we can do to cancel the enrollments? And they get a new Scrum file with the issue fixed from vendor. Such kind of with this information learning administrator used to the session, what we used to give is will remove all the enrollments which are in progress. Let's say 100 members have got enrolled and that 10 members have completed without any issue and 90 members in 90 members around 25 members are in progress. They are in progress and the rest of the people are not started. Now the issue with these 25 members, what we'll do with these 25 members is we'll take an EIB. We'll de-enroll all these 25 members from that particular course. And we'll get a new Scrum file attached to this one and auto, if a learning administrator asks to enroll these 25 members again, to that new course and to the course, with the new Scrum file attached, we'll enroll those 25 members and ask them, to continue with that from scratch. They can start the course from beginning and from there, they should be going without any issue with the fix that the Scrum file has got. That's a good word. I have 2 questions on this. Now, on the worsening part. What will happen to courses which are retrainable? For example, I've taken one course code of conduct. It is supposed to be taken again after 2 years. Now, within that time, there has undergone some change. Now, first question is, can I just remove that content and put the new content from the media? Yes, you can do. When you're editing the course, you have an option there. Update the current version, update new version. Kind of option is there when you're editing the course. I'll show you now. If I'm updating the same version and I'm just changing the content, what will be the impact? Apart from the people who are in progress. Is there any other impact? No impact will be there. Only in progress we will be having some impact for completion. There won't be any impact because they've already course. We can't do anything. And for in progress, we'll be seeing some issues. If there is an update that you need to make, then what will be the use of versioning? Meaning, what is the use of version? We can just replace the content now. When let's say of course of code of conduct courses there. Now there are some. I know the scroll file has got updated. With more features and more, interaction kind of things, I've got updated now. Instead of creating a new version, probably you wanted to update the existing one on instead of creating new version. Of course, you wanted to update the existing one. Only that what is? When you're doing that, you need to think of impacts. What are the, in progress kind of items are there? What are completed and what are not started? You need to consider these 3 scenarios. First, the major impact would be on in progress things. You need to let the in progress one complete, or even if you wanted to apart those in progress things. And if you wish those in progress things needs to happen from the updated version, you will do that one, or else it will send out a kind of communication to that. A new version of the content is added to the existing thing. All the in progress. One can start their course from scratch and they can go for that one. They can send out a communication, or if you wanted to wish even completed, people have to take the updated version. You'll send out a communication. I can just replace the content instead of versioning. I can update the same version but replace the content, which will impact only the in progress ones. If the number is small, I can just manually let them know that they have to take it from the beginning. But if I version, I'm still not getting why we should version. What is the use of versioning it? I don't know tracking purpose. This content has changed many times. Is it because of tracking purpose? And if we version it, for example, if I said version it second time, and this training was supposed to be retrainable every 2 years, people might have completed the first version. Will they automatically? What will happen to the first version first question, and what will they automatically get the notification to retrain themselves after 2 years? It depends upon the campaign that you create. Let's say in my organization code of conduct, every year for every 6 months we'll be doing. For every 6 months there may be new scroll file attached, or the existing one can be used as it is. For every 6 months, we'll be getting a notification from Learning Administrator with a campaign with all the new course links and all. When they're doing that one, you'll be mentioning that information there. If there is a new scroll file that is attached automatically, employee will feel that when they're enrolling in the course, when they're doing. Everything is how you send the kind of information to an employee. It's coming through a campaign or alerts, if you wanted to use. Anything that you can use and where an employee can be directed to the updated course content. Not very clear, but we'll see that in terms. Your question is, when we are updating the course content, what is the impact that needs to be considered for in progress 1 that you are seeing and how it differs? When I'm periodically using a different version of this thing. How employees who have completed this thing will be impacted with this thing or not. That's what Let's say if you have a requirement that for every 6 months this course has to be taken for each of the employee. You need to. There should be a way that you need to send that information to employee for every 6 months. You cannot directly ask them to get into the Workday. You cannot directly send an email to them, get into Workday Learning and go to the particular course. And you cannot ask that you need to provide certain, navigating links. Then provide all the required information, what has got updated, from the last version and which is required. You will be giving all this information in a campaign and you'll be giving a kind of browsing links and throw that. They can get into that one and update that one. And if it is required for every 6 months, even people who have completed in the first quarter, first half, they need to complete in the event in second half. Only matter comes here is when there is issue, when the course has been launched, when the course launch period has started. If in the middle there is an issue identified with a scroll file or with the content, there is no issue comes here. The people who have started the course, for those people will be seeing an issue. There, you need to get some, whether you want it to. de-enroll whether you wanted to stop the launching, for time being and fix the issue, and upload a new content. All those things you need to take action accordingly as how you want it to go. There are multiple ways of dealing with these kinds of cases. One is de-enrolling all the candidates and resigning the action that you have taken. Let's say for even after you launched, 20 to 30 people have got enrolled and they have completed. All those things would be there, but you don't want it to see those completions with the current version because there are a lot of, not required kind of content is there, which you don't want it to see the completions. And also in the scenario, what you will do is you'll be resigning that enrollments. There is an EIB template. Put enrollments kind of template is. There are also in the template. You have an option to resign the enrollment. You'll be selecting the resign enrollment option. When you're dumping that EIB template, all the enrolled content with this course content will be rescinded back. Their enrollments will be pulled back and all the enrollments will be not available in Workday anymore. Those actions you'll be taking as on needed accordingly as how you want it to have. For those kinds of things, mostly what you'll be doing is you'll be in progress. Things will be impacted. Those things will be considered how you can manage with this. Now I've created, let's say, edit courses there. Now you'll see options here. When you're see here. When you're editing the course, you have an option. Select an option, update the current version, select a new version, add a new version with effective date. We'll be seeing these options when getting the course. What is the meaning of adding new version with effective date from that particular date? You're adding that particular version, new version to the course. Meaning what will happen to the automatically inactive? The one will get inactive. Let's say, let me select one course here. Compliance course. Now compliance course selected. Update current version of selected. You'll be getting into that one. And whatever content that you'll be adding here, that will get updated. Let's now will be updated. I first submit this. The course has got updated. With this, the better version of what we have done will be getting updated. That means with that particular let's say now you have created course today, and after tomorrow, if you wanted to update the course content and people who would have enrolled into the 2 days before updating them, for them there will be no impact. They should be able to go ahead with their current environment. But people who are enrolled, who are enrolling in after update, they'll be proceeding with the new updated version. Updated content or anything you know that you will be adding, they'll be proceeding with that. When you update the version, for example, I created and it was version 1 and later I changed the content. It becomes version 2. And does that mean that when I create a version to version, one will automatically be enacted or get updated? The version 1 will get updated to version 2. What will happen for people who have completed with version 1, who are about to, who are supposed to retake the course? Like how you said 6 months later they have to retake the course. Will it automatically trigger version 2 to them? Yes. Version 1 will no longer be active in that case. What's your number? 1 will no longer be. Because you're updating the existing content only. No, you're not creating a new version. You're updating, you're editing the course, you're selecting update with a new effective day that you're choosing that no longer you will be seeing the existing the previous version, because that has got updated to the new version with the latest content or latest Chrome for anything. Today we have seen enough creation of course, and probably tomorrow we'll see the enrollment part and enrollment part. And our problem will also, when we are discussing about it, normal business process also comes into picture. What kind of validations that comes while enrolling, all those things we'll be seeing in tomorrow's session. Once the enrollment is done, and probably we'll see dropping the enrollment, how we can drop. What kind of rules that are defined while dropping the courses, all those things. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.